Hey, Zeal Brothers here once again. Want to make another video. This one is about the Boston Celtics. Now, I'm not a Boston Celtic fan, but Ines Kantor, who is known as a good rebounder and a good defender, he got on Twitter and he called Xi Jinping, right, the leader of China, a brutal dictator. And as a result of that, China pulled Boston Celtic games off of the other platforms. And so you guys need to look at this story and you need to understand why we cannot trust our corporations. Now, the NBA has not stepped in yet. But you need to understand that the pressure that China puts when people make criticisms, valid criticisms of them, their response is way out of balance. And that's why corporations are afraid to stand up to them. And because corporations are afraid to stand up to them, you can expect that your freedom of speech will be limited. You can expect that there will be a negative response to you telling the truth on China. Because let's just talk about China real quick. And I'm not necessarily talking about the Chinese people. I'm talking about the Chinese government when we talk about China. The Chinese government is a dictatorial regime. Now, they may have a one-party system, and that already should tell you if you can't be in that party, you don't belong in their political system. But look at how they're treating Hong Kong when they're removing their rights to democracy. Look at how they treat their Muslims. Look at the fact, and a lot of people don't even talk about that, they literally have slavery going on at this very day. Right now, somebody in China is a slave. The way that they treat Muslims, people talk about, well, in America, we don't treat Muslims right. I can get with that to a degree. I have seen some people say some super ignorant things about some Muslims. We pale in comparison to the treatment that the Chinese government does to the Uyghur Muslims. I'm telling you guys, there is no comparison to in some senses, they were just straight up genocide. And so when we see these kind of things, you have to understand this is why I don't trust corporations. And again, what does it have to do with corporations? It has to do with this fact that corporations want to expand into China and India to grow. China and India are the two most populous nations on the face of the world. And lots of corporations are based on growth. Corporations are all based on growth. Just like if you look at your stock portfolio, you want it to grow a certain amount of percent, right? You don't want it to just stay what it is. So if you put $100 in there, you don't want to come back in a year and see $100. That would mean you're losing. What does a corporation want to do? They want to constantly grow. And how can they expand their market? If they already are as saturated as they can be in the United States, if they can expand to China, which has 4 times our population, or expand into India, which is about the same, they can explode in growth and they can get filthy rich. But what's the cost of doing it? The cost of doing it is that you can't say anything about China. So I want everybody just to think about that. Don't trust your corporations when they have to do with these other countries, because they may not be acting in your interest. They'll be acting in theirs.